Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. This is Noel A. Figueroa, aka the Anointed Pen, welcoming you all to season 2, episode 20 of the P.W.P Sessions podcast. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Tonight's guest is poet Marc Turpin. And before we get into the conversation, I want to share a brief introduction. All right, so this is episode 20 of the P.W.P sessions. And to those of you that are not already familiar with this podcast, the P.W.P sessions, or the Poets with Purpose sessions, is a podcast that I created where I interview new or established authors of poetry, as well as rappers or MCs. I feature a performance of their work along with an audience Q&A session near the end of the podcast episode. I am your host, Noel A. Figueroa. I am a poet, author, blogger, workshop facilitator, and event host, and I am the creator of the P.W.P sessions. Tonight's guest is poet Marc Turpin, also known as Marc T, and this is his bio. Marc Turpin, also known as Marc T, is from Long Branch, New Jersey. Although new to the spoken word poetry scene, he enjoys the positive atmosphere, energy, vibes, and messages shared at open mics. He created his first poem in March after attending a spoken word event at the Triad Theater in Manhattan back in January of this year. Marc is currently working on 2 new poems. He has performed at open mics in Brooklyn, Newark, Orange, Willingboro, Long Branch, and South Plainfield. He's scheduled to perform for Juneteenth celebrations on June 10th in Plainfield, New Jersey, and on June 17th in Long Branch, New Jersey. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Mr. Marc Turpin. Hey, Marc, good evening. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing? Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Man. Thank you for being my guest tonight. Welcome to the show. Thank you.
Oh, it's my honor and privilege, man. I appreciate you having me on your platform, and I want to thank my family. I see Joan, Norman, and Manny, and of course my fiance Audrey for supporting me here tonight as well. But yes,
excellent.
It's an honor.
Excellent. That's what's up. That's what's up. So who is Marc Turpin or Marc T? How would you describe yourself or define yourself?
Oh man, listen, I just love life, man. I'm loving life. I like to help others. I like to laugh, have a good time. I love my family, love my daughter, my fiance. I like giving back. Just try to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. I try to stay humble and hungry, and continue to move forward and strive to achieve some goals that I have in mind, So that's me. Love to laugh, man.
All right. That's what's up. Oh, well, how did you get started in poetry? What was it about poetry that caught your attention that made you feel that like you can become a poet yourself?
Well, you read it in the bio. One night, my fiance and I, Audrey, we went to the Triad Theater over in New York, and we heard Leah V. You may have heard of Leah V, right? Mm-hmm. And she lit it up. And it just grabbed me. So I was like, yo, I can do that. You know what I mean? I felt the energy and I loved it. You know what I mean? The message, she, a couple of poems that she was talking about, COVID, and unfortunately, her father died as a result, and some other things. That really grabbed me, man. That really grabbed me. I love the messages that you hear from it. It's thought provoking, it's engaging, it's educational, so I really appreciate it. I love that, It's my man Reggie there. Hey, Reg.
All right.
So,
So it was more or less this year that you actually started getting into writing. So you're you're for the most part you're new to the poetry scene. Is that correct?
oh yeah, I'm new. I'm like a baby in this thing, but I'm excited. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm like a baby. I think we went. What was that? July, in the January we went. Then by March I made the first poem. But yeah, I'm new to this. Yeah, I love it though. I love it.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Now
Sure.
you're just beginning your poetic journey. What subjects have you started writing about?
Well, my first poem was about our ancestors dealing with Black history. I wrote on that, and I was working on another poem about myself. Another one about my fiance and I. I'm really basically talking about me. With these other two poems, like myself, our first date that we have. But I really want to branch out and start talking about some other things too. But I'm gonna ease my way into it. I'm gonna ease my way into it.
Right. That's what's up. Yeah, because we all got to start somewhere, and there's no shame in being a beginner, because we all didn't come into this knowing everything. You know what I mean? It's like, what matters is that you took the initiative to take the first step and into developing your own writing path or writing journey, which leads me to my next question. Who or what would you give credit to helping you develop your skills as a writer or a poet?
A fiance, or she also had, truthfully, yeah, true. I'm not saying that just because her. I bounce a lot of things off her, and she, give me some insight, guidance. I'm working with, I don't know if you know Prolific poet. He's out off the West Coast. He used to live out this way. Amira Shabazz Bilal.
Mhm.
She helped me a lot. James Ellaby, he helped me as well. So it's been coming. Can't forget about Jay Rose out of New York. So it's been coming. It's been coming from different people. But yeah, my fiance helped me a lot. Like when I'm writing, I bounce some things off her. She give me some. So I got my family too. My man, my cousin there, man, he helped me too.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's up. Do you have any plans to put a book together?
Maybe down the road, right? My short term, that would be a long term goal. I'm sitting there looking at this book James Ellery put together, and breezing through that, and he has quite a few poems. But that would be a long term goal. A short term goal with this right now is continue working on this. I would like to be a feature one day, and then go from there. Let's see what happens, and yeah, putting together a book wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right.
Absolutely. Also would like to put together some open mics. I would like to bring that back down to my old hometown, Long Branch, or somewhere back here in Jersey, do some open mics, have some features, just how we do it throughout the city and everything. We have open mic, have anybody want to display their talent, comedy, singing, poetry would be that, emphasis would be on poetry. But I would like to do that, I'm looking into that, putting something together with that. Start promoting shows like that.
Excellent plans, man. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are there any poets in particular that you would consider an inspiration?
Well, yeah, like I said, I was just working with Prolific. He's an inspiration for sure. Some of these women, I'm telling you, the women, like, J Rose, again, I'll use her name, J Rose, Leah V, they're good. Amira, we was just in Broadway, was it last weekend or the weekend before?
Right.
I think you know a little bit about that, the When Women Speaks.
Right.
Those women was absolutely fire, man. They were fire. You had Amira, you had Dr. Helena Lewis, you had Felicia, and they were fire, man. Inspirational. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Right, right. Now,
Mhm.
what goals do you have for your poetry? Like, what would you, what do you hope or plan to accomplish through your poetry? Because we poets have us poets, we all have a different purpose or reason, to share our work. What would you say your reasons are?
Just to connect with people, man. Just connect. Let them know that maybe somebody might be feeling alone and different. You know what I mean? That's why I like when I branch out. I'm working on this other poem, a couple other poems about myself, right? And I just like to share that with them, just connect with people. I think we have more in common than we do apart. You know what I mean? Our
Right,
differences, our similarities far outweigh our differences. And sometimes I would like to get that message out there, let people know they ain't alone. Let me know I'm not alone as well. So to
right,
connect with people, to also not connect on that level, but also make people think. You know what I mean? To get them to
right,
engage and to educate. Just like I said, the thing that grabbed me to this, that spoken word poetry educates, informs, makes you engage. That same thing that grabbed me, I want to be able to, share that with somebody else.
right. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Mhm.
Now, what has the responses or reaction to your poetry has been like? Like what kind of comments have you been receiving about your work?
Positive, positive. I mean, like really, that's the one poem that I've been doing, and I have, everybody's positive feedback on it. You know what I mean? They love it. It's based off fact. It's true. Um, so I've been getting positive feedback about it. People are like, wow, that's deep what you said, man. I appreciate that. So again, because it's informative, right? It's engaging, make people think, educate, right? So I've been getting positive feedback.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, as if are there, when it comes to your writing, do you gravitate to certain subjects more than others, or do you or you are you the type of writer that just writes what you feel at any given time?
But right now, it's just gravitate towards the subject. And I was thinking about that earlier. Like, I know there's some people, a lot of poets, they just write what's going on inside them, what they're feeling at that moment. They jot that down, and like I want to get there. I'll get there as well at some point. But right now, just take a subject, focus on that, and how I could write about that subject or that topic. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at right
Right, right. Now you may have heard the word representation thrown around, in certain instances, like especially when it comes to the arts and poetry, specifically. Like when it comes to your poetry, and when you're writing it, when you're performing it, or sharing your poetry, how important is it to you to make sure that you're representing yourself in your totality, through your poetry? Whether you're talking about life experiences, race, religion, whatever pertains to your life in particular. How important is it to you that when you sharing your work, that you're representing yourself in your totality?
now. Most important, the thing most important is representing the truth, right? Representing facts. That's what that poem is about. It's about facts, it's about truth. So that's important to me. Not so much making it about me, but about the topic or the subject that I was talking about. You know, and so that's where it comes from. That's the bottom line. It makes representing truth and facts. Man. That's it. So it's important from that aspect.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, like, you mentioned a potential book in the future, wanting to do open mics. Um, uh, do you have any other goals for your poetry? Like maybe, I don't know, like maybe plays or, commercials, because, the possibilities are endless when it comes to poetry. Like, are there any other goals in particular that you have for your writing?
No, not really. But what I thought about too. I was listening, like how like spoken word and rap, it kind of like in music. I mean, it kind of like intertwine a little bit. You can hear it, right? And I thought about that like for a minute. I said, wow, what if somebody took this poem and made it into a song? You know what I mean? Because you can do that with poetry, right? Basically, right? You can do that, right? So, but as far as like, have I thought about being in a play? Or no, I haven't, but I did thought briefly about wow, what if somebody took the poem and made it into a song, you know? So, but like I said, I'm new to the game, so I see there's a lot of possibilities. People go a lot of different directions with it. And you know, I'm open to all that stuff, you know, open to that. That's what makes this exciting because there's so many different ways and things you can go with, and you know, places you can go with it, you know. That's
Right,
what makes it.
definitely, and you know, and it's and and it's definitely the possibilities are endless, you know, because you know, poetry is the type of art form where it's flexible. You know, there's really no structure to it. It's however you, it's open to your own interpretation. You know what I mean? There's really no restrictions to it, so it could go in any direction, you know, that you could think of. You know, music, you know, movies, you know, plays,
Mm-hmm.
you know, things of that nature. You know, it's multifaceted in that way. You know, where you know you see it go far beyond, you know, what it was even back in the day. You know, so it's full of endless possibilities for sure.
Sure, absolutely. You know what I was thinking about when you was talking too, like when you say about represent myself, right? Um, I remember Mira said this to me, and it stuck with me. She said, "Just be yourself." You know what I mean? Don't try to get caught up with because when you know you go to these open mics, you go to these events, you got multiple poets, and it did happen, and you can hear somebody else and how they deliver in their poem, and you know with energy and so on and so forth. You think you got to keep up with that shit. No, just be yourself. You know what I mean? Kind of like what you talking about. Represent yourself. Be true to yourself. Right? Everybody got their own little style, their own way of giving
Exactly.
it and sharing it. Right? I got to just go and just be me. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. Absolutely. I'm in full agreement with that because I believe it's important to be transparent and, you know, just be yourself, be comfortable in who you are, you know, because it's not about competition at the end of the day. You know,
Right.
you're not there to compete with other poets, you're there to contribute, you know.
Exactly.
And the way I see it, you know, when I share my work, you know, it's like, you know, I already know I'm not for everybody, but I'm for somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how you got to see it. You're not going to be for everybody, but there's a certain segment of people that you are going to be for, and that's going to be the ones that you're meant to reach. So when you give yourself and your totality to your work, you know, just by being yourself, you'll the people that the people that you're meant to connect to through your writing will
Yeah.
connect with you, and it'll come naturally. It won't be forced. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what makes the difference. You know, when it flows naturally, you know, you connect with people at a deeper level because you're not trying to be nobody but yourself, you know.
Right. I agree. I agree. Only be me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Now,
it.
now when you're ready to begin, you know, working on your book, um, you know, have you decided on the method? Like, have you decided on going the self-publishing route, or are you going to try to go the traditional route of like trying to get an agent and shop around your book? Like, what do you feel is going to work for you?
I'll be honest, I haven't thought out that far, but I do have a friend who at one time was a publisher. I would definitely confide in him and get some guidance and direction in that from that aspect, you know, what would be the best route, you know. But truthfully, I haven't even gotten out that far. But that's definitely something to think about, right? Because like you said, it's different directions you can go with this thing, right? You can do self-publishing or traditional, right? I never even thought about it, but yeah, but one day, hopefully not too far off, I have that decision to make, right?
Yeah, definitely. And what about anthologies? Have you considered contributing to any anthologies?
No, I haven't. I haven't thought. No, I haven't thought about that.
Well, that's definitely another option to consider. You know, because I just recently published one of my poems in an anthology. I believe it was with the Raritan Valley Library. You know, they have it every year. They have an anthology every year, and that's online.
Okay.
You know, that's just one example. You know, there's multiple projects that you can submit to. So you can consider that as another option, as an avenue for your work, in addition to putting out your own book.
Basically, you submit one poem if you want, or multiple poems. Yes.
Yeah, it depends on the project. You know, some projects, you know, will allow you to submit one. Other projects may allow you to submit, you know, 2 or 3. It depends on who's coordinating the project, and you know what the theme of the project is, and there's other variables to consider. But it mainly depends on whose project it is, because everybody's different.
Yeah. Well, that sounds definitely, you know, I'm open to, and I have to look into that as well. Maybe, you know, later on, I get some more information from you and some other people. You know, I have to add that to the list, something to do, look into, you know.
Mhm.
I just thought, you know, I ain't think about publishing one thing. I thought, you know, like similar like you was talking about, I have to do like a little book, you know, or multiple poems in order to publish something, you know.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna shift gears right now. We're gonna get into this next segment, because now it's time for Marc to take the mic. Now, at this time, Marc, I'm going to give you room to do up to 5 poems of your choosing. It doesn't have to be 5, but you know, I'm going to give you space at this time to share your work, to give our audience an idea of, you know, of who you are and what your poetry is about. So at this time, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, like I said, I got 2. One I just recently finished. This one about our first date, my fiance and I. And then the second one I'll do is the one the very first one I made. That's the one that I'll be doing at the Juneteenth celebrations, Plainfield next week, next Saturday, and the following Saturday in Long Branch. And then actually, a young lady just asked me if I was available to do it in Trenton on the 24th. But this first one, right? This one right here talks about first date, and it was a good date. That was crazy, right? Well, our first date. Hold on. I didn't get it memorized yet. I wrote it down. But let me share it with you. Our first date, June 4th, 2016. Our first date. I felt your spirit and energy radiating like the sun rays. It was invigorating and great. No doubt I was attracted to your external beauty. However, the main attraction, and I say this with pride and passion, was I was attracted to your soothing, sexy soul. I still remember and feel the intimacy we shared. You understand what I'm talking about? Into me, you see? It wasn't counterfeit, it was real. You didn't judge me like Judy. I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, trust. Your spirit touched mine in a way that I'd never felt before, and let me know it was okay for me to open the door that was guarding my emotions and let you into the VIP section of my inner self due to our passionate connection. Your smile lit up the night like the bright stars in the sky. Everything felt and was right. Time stood still as we sat on the bench, and I could feel our spirits become magnetized, drawing us emotionally closer to each other while we talked and laughed and chilled. Your loving and caring and authentic vibes was what God prescribed as the antidote to the past toxic relationship, which left a bitter taste in my throat due to the fact that she didn't accept her part and use me as a scapegoat. Today, I do not despise, demean, or degrade the ex, because her exit, although excruciating, is exactly what gave me the opportunity to explore and to discover you and your extraordinary exuberance. I'm excited and looking forward to continue living life together, pouring expressions of love, support, encouragement, inspiration, motivation, and stimulation into each other so we can excel, exceed, and succeed collectively and individually as we continue to write our history. We only get one time to have our first time with anything. I will always remember our one time when it was our first time, because we will never have another first date. That was it. That's my first date. So that's one. This other one, this is called Ancestors or First Professors. Thank you. Ancestors or First Professors. And this was inspired, again, coming from the Triad Theater that night in January. I believe, yeah, it was in January. It was January. It was coming from Triad Theater, just hearing Leah V put down that spoken word, do that poetry, and lit my fire. And coming home, on the way home, I looked at my fiance, Audrey is her name, and I said, I can do that. And she's like, looked at me. I said, I'm telling you, I can do that. Throw a word at me. and I said, throw a word at me. And she said, ancestors. And I was like, ancestors? I was like, all right, ancestors, our first professors. Then I was like, oh, they dropped knowledge that we didn't get in high school, college. And then it rolled on from there. And I went home and I started thinking, blah, blah, blah. I put it together. But anyway, so the name of this poem is Ancestors, Our First Professors. And some of you may have heard it already. That's fine. I made a little tweak to it, man. A little bit here and there, man. See if you can pick it up, all right? All right. Ancestors were our first professors. They dropped knowledge we didn't get in high school, college. They spoke truth of incredible acts of bravery during the cruel and humane treatment they received while being held captive in slavery. They were scarred from the brutality, mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's a harsh reality. They fought in the Civil War for their freedom. They were determined that the Confederates wouldn't beat them. In 1865, the war came to an end. Not long after that, the vagrant laws began. These laws allowed those recently freed to be locked up again if they didn't have a job or a place to stay. Our ancestors were our first professors. They dropped knowledge we didn't get in high school or college. They spoke truth of the Jim Crow era, how it was just another way for the racists to inflict more terror. They faced segregation, discrimination, humiliation, and many other degrading things throughout this nation. They took a stand and made clear their demands, their demand for equal rights, demand for voting rights, demand for basic human rights. They fought for what they believed in and for what was right. They stayed committed day and night. To achieve these demands came at a cost. Unfortunately and sadly, many, many lives were lost. From Mississippi to Alabama, they was beaten in the head, thrown in the slam, and left for dead. They were attacked by police dogs, sprayed with water hoses, ingested tear gas. But our ancestors kept fighting because they didn't want the Jim Crow era to last. They didn't back down because they knew it was at stake. The inhumane treatment they would no longer take. Because of all these horrors they had to endure, and let's not forget, it was so much more. Brothers and sisters, take heed to this quote. We owe it to our ancestors to get out and vote. Our ancestors were our first professors. They dropped knowledge we didn't get in high school or college. They spoke truth that we are more than 3/5 of a man. Malcolm, Megan, and Martin, just to name a few, spoke of a vision and a plan for me and you. The vision and plan was for us to support and encourage, to lift each other up and not put each other down, to have unity in our community so we can build a stronger town, to have good mental, emotional, and physical health, to be economically sound so we can create generational wealth. Buying property and land and opening up businesses was also part of the plan. They stressed the importance of education and learning the laws of this nation so we can stand for something and don't fall for anything. Our ancestors were our first professors. Some may call them our predecessors. However you may see it, we are now their successors. Now it's our turn to drop knowledge that won't be taught in high school or college. We must continue to speak the truth that racism and discrimination still exist. Even in broad daylight, our lives could be at risk. George Floyd died from a knee to the neck by the very police that was supposed to serve and protect. And it was being recorded on a camera and it still didn't matter. Ahmaud Arbery went for a run and got murdered with a shotgun. We're still being profiled and only God knows when that trend will end. Why? Just because the color of our skin? That ain't right. Well, I guess it's like my man Ralph P. said, it's all because we are the wrong shade of white. In spite of all these acts of hate, just remember we are truly great. We're beautiful, intelligent, articulate, creative, and smart, just as our ancestors was from the start. Our sisters are queens and our brothers are kings. We're capable of doing all things. You are my sister and I'm your brother. We must continue to love and support one another. That's it. Thank you. That's it.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Fire Poetics by Marc T. Ladies and gentlemen, that was awesome. That was excellent, bro. Excellent. Thank you for sharing those pieces, man. Awesome,
Thank you for the opportunity. Yep, appreciate y'all.
All right, so now we're gonna shift gears. We just had some Fire Poetics shared, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're gonna shift into the Q&A portion of this episode. So if there's anyone in the audience right now that has a question or a comment for Marc T, you can unmute yourself now and share your question or comment.
Marc Turpin,
Yes, what's up, Nat?
what's up? Well, I'm so proud of you. You are
Thank you.
still that was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was truly beautiful.
Thank you.
As the historian of my family's legacy, I appreciate your poem. It went straight to my heart, made my heart smile. It's just the truth. And you delivered it elegantly. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Love to see what you're doing. You're doing just awesome. I appreciate it. I love to see it.
Yes.
Homeboy. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else like to share a question or a comment for Marc? Don't be shy, y'all. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll jump in with one. If you could collaborate with any poet, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Ooh. Ooh. That's a good question right there. Oh. Well, going off the people I recently met, there'd be a couple. Does it have to be one, or could it be?
As many as you like.
I would love. Listen, I would love to do something. Oh, I would love to do something with Amira. Collaborate with Amira.
Nice.
Prolific is on like another level where I'm at, but yo, I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean? But like we talked about, it's not about him, me versus him versus me. But I would love do something with him and Jay Rose out of New York over here. Yeah, and this other young lady too. She out of Philly, Jaylene. Oh my gosh, yeah, I would love to do something with them. Yeah, absolutely. Why would I want to do something with Mira? Mira, she like you talk about tackling and taking on different topics. You know, she moves around, little political stuff, little this, little that. You know what I mean? Like I like to get to that. You know, do something like that with her. Her style, you know, like we said, everybody got their own style, right? I like her style too. You know, it's like, you know, so it's not too, you know, up and down, but the way she deliver it, she grabs your attention. Like I said, she gets you engaged. That's what I would like to do with her. Prolific, the way he puts together his metaphors, you know, is great. Like, you know, I would like to learn and get better with that, you know, from Prolific. Jay Rose she just got that vibe, man. She just got this vibe. You know, it's like she's smooth, you know, they all smooth, but Jay Rose is just something about it, you know. So yeah, I would like to collaborate with them. Yeah. You know. So and the sister out of Philly, Jaylene, you know, the way she was delivering, again, everybody got the style, right? And like, but the way I don't know if you know Jaylene out of Philly, but the way she delivered her poem, she did it like she was telling a story, like she was playing characters. And then she broke out and boom, she was into the message. It's like, wow, she playing characters, she in character? No, she's hitting you with a message. Right. Before you know it, it's like, wow. So yeah, that, you know, to collaborate with those 3 or 4 people and be able to learn and grow, and not so much take their style, but, you know, be able to incorporate their style with the way they do things into my message and performance. Yeah, I would love to collaborate with them.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm more so familiar with Jay Rose and Amira. You know, I know for sure that their poetry is powerful and on point, and their presentation is definitely powerful for sure.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, you was in Newark that day, right? Remember we was in Newark at Evolute.
Right.
Sean Barrett's spot. Right. That's when they had the thing, right? The women.
Yeah. Amira was shining that night, no question. Very powerful work. She's a storyteller too. You know,
right.
All poets are storytellers more or less, but I'm saying in terms of how she presents her poetry, some of it is like in a storytelling form, you know.
Yes.
It's in it, and it just grabs your attention.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. All right, y'all, back to the audience. Anyone else like to give a question or a comment for Marc before we close out?
Look like Thomas got his hand up.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, family. And thank you, Marc, for your beautiful work. I tell you, I am truly blessed that God has put you in my life to hear the magic that comes out of your mouth. I've really just admire your way of just taking a risk and doing something you've never done before, and just really taking it by the horns and just going for it, man. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch, you know. And we talk about different things, conscious level things, and things that really matter. And I can't tell you how again how grateful I am to have you in my life, and for you to continue, for you to teach me, you know, about you know, poetry and first word and on all this stuff, because I'm like this old school kind of guy who, you know, I'm not a Neanderthal, but you know, you know, change comes, but it comes a little slow for me. But you've helped me, you know, kind of speed things up, and I'm truly grateful. And I wish you the best of luck in your journey.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate the word, man. Appreciate the words and love and support, man. You've been there for me as well, man. Appreciate it.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else in the audience like to give a question or comment before we close out? All right. Hey, is there any, aside from the events that you've already mentioned, do you have anything else coming up in the pipeline that you'd like to share with our audience tonight?
Yeah, well, on the 15th, I will be on Arena Podcast. That's Hoodie, a man, Hoodie Franklano. He calls himself Hoodie Franklano out of Orange. I'll be on his podcast on the 15th. That's the same day as yours. I think, yeah, it's the same day. I'll be on his podcast. And also, like, I don't know if I briefly mentioned, I was just asked to do a Juneteenth celebration in Trenton on the 24th. So looking forward to those things. And I'm just gonna get out, continue hitting these open mics. You know, I love the vibe, I love the spirit. I was telling Thomas about it. The energy is just, it's nice. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Excellent,
So,
excellent. Now let's get into writing environment for a minute. Do you have like a particular place or you know, or location that's like your go-to to help you writing, to help you write? Like, do you have like a space in your home, or do you have a space like in a park, or like what location do you have, or is there a particular location that you have that you go to that you could like hide away from, you know, and concentrate on your writing?
that's a good question. Right here at my kitchen table.
Right. Nice,
I just
nice.
get down right here for the most part. Sometimes I go in the bedroom because Audrey, she's in school. She's going to work on getting a master's, so she'll be down doing her thing. So I try to give her space as well. So I'll go in the bedroom. I can write in there, but mostly I do it right here at the kitchen table. Sometimes too, I think I was telling Thomas, my cousin, like you know, I got to get better with carrying a pad, but sometimes I'll be like, I'm sure you experience this, you know, I might be working out or at work and something will come and like, oh my gosh, that's a good line. I need to write that down.
Right.
But for the most part, I sit here at the table or in the bedroom, between those two places.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right. Now, where can you be found on social media?
Oh, Marc T, that's MarCtee 91. That's on Instagram, and then Marc Turpin on Facebook. That's it. That's all I got. Real simple. Real simple.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Now we're gonna handle just one more piece of business this evening before we close out. And that's just to say thank you. First and foremost, Marc, thank you so much for coming through. Awesome conversation, awesome poetry. You know what I mean? You're just starting out, but you're hitting the ground running. So, you know, I wish you all the best with your upcoming events. You know, hope to see that book real soon. You know what I mean? You got some solid material, man. You know what I'm saying? So I
Thank
want
you.
you to keep up the good work, you know, very
Appreciate
inspirational.
it.
You know what I'm saying? You grab people's attention with your words and you know what I'm saying, keep up the great work, man. You know, you're
Appreciate
an
it.
inspiration. You know what I mean, I wish you all the best. Now,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen, up next, stay tuned for episode 21, where I'm going to be featuring poet Tom Centula. That's going to be on Tuesday, June 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which it'll also be on Zoom. And if you haven't already, connect with Poets with Purpose on Facebook through the Facebook group Poets with Purpose. Also on Twitter @PoetsWPurpose, YouTube of the same name. I can also be found on Clubhouse @The Anointed Pen. And for more information about Poets with Purpose or the P.W.P sessions, you can call me at 646-372-6230 or email me at poetswithpurpose@gmail.com. All of my logos and flyers were designed by the excellent team at Eclipse Graphics. You can connect with them on Instagram @Eclipse Graphics NY. And lastly, for those of you that would like to make a donation, you can do so through PayPal, Tap Media Man, $The Anointed Pen, or through Zelle utilizing my phone number. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for episode 20. This episode will be uploaded to the Poets with Purpose YouTube channel within the next hour or so. So be on the lookout for that. So you'll be able to share it with your social media channels once it's uploaded. Thank you, Marc, for coming through. Awesome poetry, awesome conversation. Big thank you to my audience. Thank you all for your support. Have a good evening and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
God
Love
bless.
y'all,
Have a
man.
good
Love
one.
y'all.